Ling Yan is a beauty from a wealthy family who wakes up in a hospital and hears someone coming to her room. Assuming it's a hitman, she runs away and asks a random driver for help, but he turns out to be the very same hitman. The man tries to strangle the beauty as a guy on a motorcycle suddenly appears. He stands up for the girl and gets into a fight with a stronger and bigger opponent. Not afraid of the knife and the possibility of losing his life, Xiaomo tackles the opponent by smashing the window with his head. The next morning, Lin Yan wakes up in an apartment unknown to him and hides. Seeing Xiaomo, she assumes he carries a threat to her and attacks the guy with a knife. He manages to plow the girl into bed, convincing her that he is not a danger to her. 3 years before that day, Ling Yan was a happy bride and was about to marry her beloved June. The girl had everything: wealth, a loving fiancé and a best friend, but it only seemed so at first glance. Lily's loyal and devoted friend turned out to be Jun's lover. They met behind Ling Yan's back and planned the marriage only to take her late father's business away from her. Shortly before the wedding, the sneaky Lily slipped her a key card to a hotel room where the girl discovered the lovers. Frustrated, she had a fight with her fiancé and tried to take her ring from her friend. Lily pushed Ling Yan away, causing the girl to fall from the roof. At the last moment, Jun manages to grab her hand, trying to save the bride. Lily orders to let go of Ling Yan's hand, because she has exposed the lovers and will destroy their lives if she can survive. Realizing that the mistress is right, Jun lets go of the bride, and she falls down, miraculously surviving the incident. Ling Yan fell into a coma for 3 years, and during that time, Jun replaced her as the company's CEO. He became rich, powerful, and was able to loot the company, taking possession of all of his fiancé's assets. Last night, Ling Yan woke up for the first time, but Lily's driver had to take her life. Xiaomo showed up at the hospital in time and saved the girl. Moreover, they know each other, because the guy once worked as a bodyguard in her company, but was fired at Jun's request. Xiaomo tells the girl about the real situation and the authority of her fiancé. Enraged, Ling Yan goes to an official event and, grabbing a knife, attacks Jun in an attempt to take his life. Moments later, Ling Yan realizes that this is her wish, but the crime will not allow her to achieve what she wants. Choosing another option, the girl pretends that she has amnesia and does not remember anything that happened to her just before the fall. Believing this, Jun is happy and pretends to be her loving fiancé, waiting for his bride to return all this time. While Jun drags out a stroll around the city, Lily rushes to Ling Yan's house to get all her belongings out of there. Ling Yan is fully aware of everything and knows that her traitorous friend used to live there, but sneeringly notices only small details, pretending to be surprised at the state of the house, which according to Jun hasn't been lived in for 3 years. Realizing that the best way to get justice is revenge, Ling Yan begins to train hard. Jun learns from a doctor that amnesia can remain forever if he doesn't expose his fiancé to painful memories. At the same time, Lily invites her friend to the very hotel room where she caught the lovers. Losing control, Ling Yan tries to drown the traitor in the toilet and then fakes a headache attack when Jun appears in the room. He asks Lily not to interfere and worries about Ling Yan's well-being, not wanting her to remember anything. Jun punches Lily in the face and asks her not to interfere with his relationship with Ling Yan anymore, as it is important for him to maintain his reputation and status, as well as his financial well-being. Xiaomo offers Ling Yan his help in implementing his revenge plan in exchange for half of her company's shares, but the girl refuses, believing that she can handle everything on her own. The next morning, Jun hires a nurse for the bride, who turns out to be Lily's aunt. The woman constantly beat Ling Yan when she was in a coma, and the girl decides to take revenge for it. She beats her friend's aunt, after which she pays her money to create a scandal between Jun and Lily. Soon, Ling Yan returns as the head of the company and asks for support from her uncle, but gets caught in the first meeting that ends in scandal. Having gotten rich, people have stopped remembering her late father and treat the girl with disrespect, considering her an inexperienced leader. Unable to endure human meanness, Ling Yan struggles to cope with nausea and goes to the parking lot, where 3 hooligans hired by Lily want to beat up the girl, but Xiaomo appears on their way. After leaving Ling Yan in the car and playing music for her, the bodyguard beat up the 3 hooligans, leaving them money for treatment. He then decided to confront Lily and, threatening her with a knife, put a hole in the hood of her car, asking her to leave Lingyan alone. Upon waking up, Lingyan found herself in an awkward situation as she had spent the night at the office of Siomo Security Company. The man carefully hides the girl from the inquisitive subordinates and tells her what happened. Trusting him, she asks Siomo to become her personal bodyguard, just like her late father. Lingyan offers only a 15% stake, making Siomo hesitant to accept her terms. At the same time, a famous actress appears who is willing to sacrifice all her money just to have Siomo guard her. Despite the tempting offer, Siomo refuses because he will be guarding a girl who owes him not only the company's shares, but also one wish. Seeing Lingyan accompanied by another man, Jun assumes it is her lover and decides to attack him with an electric flacewater. Noticing Jun, Siomo defends himself and brutally beats Lingyan's fiancé. Jun is displeased and jealous of the girl, so he asks her to fire the bodyguard, but she has no intention of doing so. She trusts the groom and believes in his friendship with Lily, so she asks not to interfere with Siomo becoming her bodyguard and personal assistant. Upon meeting Lily, Jun punches the girl in the face, blaming her for what happened. It was her attempts to harm Lingyan that led her to hire a bodyguard, choosing Siomo as her assistant. Jun doesn't trust him, knowing that the man was a mercenary and soldier in the past, taking the lives of hundreds of people. The next morning, Lingyan appears in company with Siomo, shaking Jun's hand only after her approval. The groom tries to demonstrate strength during the handshake, but loses this fight to a stronger opponent. At a meeting of the heads of the company, Lingyan cancels the contract because Jun and her uncle tried to steal the money by investing it in an unprofitable project. Protecting their reputations, the men make an extreme Lily, causing Lingyan to fire her best friend and become chairman of her late father's corporation. Jun continues to meet secretly with his mistress in order to realize a cunning plan and finally get rid of Lingyan. Now, Jun is too afraid that the girl will expose him and suggests Lily to go on vacation so that Lingyan won't get jealous and suspect them of having a romantic relationship. At the same time, Lingyan calls her fiancé and he lies that he's at the office right now. Upon learning that the bride is going to his place, Jun hurriedly leaves for work. Siomo gives the girl a precious piece of jewelry, but it turns out that it is not only a bracelet, but also a tracking device. While taking a shower, Siomo receives a notification that something has happened. As it turns out, Lingyan injured her leg while practicing, so he shows concern and cooks dinner for her. In the romantic atmosphere, Lingyan realizes that she has fallen in love with her bodyguard, but is afraid to trust anyone without realizing that Siomo is in love with her as well. The next morning, Jun forcibly sends Lily on vacation. He tries to propose marriage to Lingyan, but the girl suggests going on a trip to remember old feelings. Jun agrees, but soon gets a shock when he discovers that they have traveled to the same hotel he sent Lily to. Once at the hotel, Jun does everything he can to prevent Lingyan from seeing Lily. He asks his mistress to leave the hotel urgently, after which he prepares a romantic surprise for the bride with dancing and dinner at a restaurant. During the conversation, Jun reminds him about the upcoming wedding, but Lingyan came to this hotel on purpose, knowing that Lily is here and she will distract him from bad thoughts. After seeing a photo of the couple in love where Jun is kissing the bride, Lily begins to manipulate the man into meeting her. Running on foot between the restaurant and his room, Jun tries to get rid of his mistress, but he fails. Lingyan guesses what's going on and decides to use the convenient situation to bully Lily. Once in Jun's room, she notices that Lily is hiding in the bathtub with water and doesn't leave the room for a long time. As a result, Lily nearly drowns and can't speak as soap bubbles come out of her mouth. Jun gets rid of the girl by sending her to the hospital. At the same time, Siomo shows jealousy because he doesn't like that her fiancé kissed her on the cheek. Lingyan doesn't pay much attention to it and claims that there is nothing wrong with the kiss. Deciding to test it, the bodyguard kisses the girl. Lingyan rejects Siomo and punches him in the face, forbidding him to repeat such behavior in the future. Going to her bedroom, the girl meets her fiancé who proposes to make love. Having been refused, he tries to take Lingyan by force, but accidentally presses the stone in her bracelet. Siomo, who appears, beats Jun and throws him out of the girl's room, forbidding him to go near her. Thinking about the bodyguard's actions and kiss, Lingyan realizes more and more that she likes him. Learning that the bodyguard does not move a step away from her room, the girl offers to pretend to be her amorous pursuer. He agrees to this sacrifice and promises not to kiss Lingyan again unless she asks him to. The next morning, Jun insists that the bride fire the amorous bodyguard and offers to replace him with a dozen professional guards. Lingyan is shocked by this turn of events and doesn't know what to say to the groom when Xiaomo suddenly appears. Learning that he is Lingyan's personal bodyguard, the other guards hurriedly leave the room and refuse to work, because they are all much worse than Xiaomo alone. Despite his cruelty and ability to take people's lives, Xiaomo shows tenderness and care towards the girl. He buys her new sneakers and a band-aid to treat the wound on her foot. Jun spoils the romantic mood and invites the bride to the wedding salon, where he has prepared the most expensive wedding dress for her. The designer assumes that Xiaomo is the groom and suggests that he try on the most expensive and exquisite suit. After changing clothes, Xiaomo and Lingyan look like the perfect married couple, which annoys Jun after Xiaomo officially declares his desire to win the heart of the beauty. Jun asks the bride to choose in favor of one of them. The girl decides to leave, but accidentally falls down the steps. Xiaomo picks Lingyan up in time and, taking advantage of the romantic moment, kisses her right in front of her future husband. Lingyan asks Xiaomo to be a little more restrained, as he's too much in the image of a man in love. The girl goes for a walk to think about his behavior and remember everything that has been going on between them lately. At one point, she almost gets hit by the wheels of a passing car, but Xiaomo saves the girl by injuring her back. Mindful of Lingyan's words not to get too close, the bodyguard provokes her by creating a romantic atmosphere. Lingyan closes her eyes and longs for Xiaomo to kiss her, but he stubbornly fails to do so. Upon returning home, the girl tries to cook dinner, but she fails. The bodyguard cooks instead of Lingyan and shows sympathy again. She thinks he's ready to kiss her, but in fact there's just a drop of sauce left on her face that he wipes off. Soon, the girl can't stand it and takes the initiative, deciding to kiss Xiaomo. The couple enjoys the moment as suddenly someone rings the doorbell, and it turns out to be the Jun who lost them, coming to visit the bride to propose to her again to become his wife. Seeing the guard in front of him, Jun is filled with anger, assuming that Lingyan is cheating on him with Xiaomo. Upon discovering the paired toothbrushes and other items meant for the couple in love, he causes a scandal. The girl decides to take advantage of the situation and suggests a pause in the relationship to think about whether they loved each other. Jun has no intention of giving up, but Xiaomo declares his desire to win the girl's heart. Upon hearing this, Lingyan becomes cruel and callous. She not only rejects the guard, but also gives him a few days off to leave her alone. Jun is nervous and wants to do everything he can to make Lingyan his wife as soon as possible. Lily is offended by all of this as she wants to be Jun's fiancée. She offers to leave her friend alone. After all, they have stolen almost all the shares of the company, but Jun is not enough and wants to get everything. Rejecting his mistress, Jun promises to break up with Lily if she interferes with his plans. Offended by this attitude, Lily dreams of taking revenge on her friend. Soon Lingyan goes for a walk and hears someone behind her. 3 criminals kidnap Lingyan and hide her in an old hangar. Lily orders them to abuse the girl and videotape the whole thing to destroy her reputation. Lingyan tries to resist and call for help, but gets punched in the face and loses consciousness. At the same time, Xiaomo and his subordinates burst into the hangar. The guards rescue Lingyan, after which Xiaomo orders to execute the criminals who dared to offend his favorite girl. Upon returning home, a grateful Lingyan kisses her savior. In a romantic moment, the couple kiss and spend the night together. In the morning, Lingyan feels embarrassed and awkward. Believing that the bodyguard is still asleep, she decides to escape, but he wakes up before she does, causing Lingyan to fall to the floor. The pretty girl tries to pretend to be a victim of seduction, but Xiaomo reminds her who kissed whom first yesterday. A little later, the couple goes to the corporate office, where Jun proposes to Lingyan and declares that their wedding will take place in a month. Lingyan agrees to become Jun's wife, which upsets Xiaomo. He is in love with her and doesn't want the girl to marry someone else, but she has no choice. The girl can't let Jun go, as he embezzled most of her late father's money, and she has to pay back every last penny. Having given up Lily, Jun decides to find a new mistress and pays attention to the modest and chic Sioza. He forces the girl to go with him to a hotel to spend the night together. Lingyan has been following them and knows about everything, so she asks Xiaoshu to play along with her. The girl takes a photo with Jun and sends it to Lily, causing the former mistress to make a scandal. The mistresses fight and Lingyan sees it, realizing that her fiancé has cheated, and more than once. Lily tries to tell her ex-girlfriend the whole truth, but Lingyan whisperingly admits that she has not lost her memory and knows everything. After arguing with her friend and rejecting her, Lingyan pays for an operation for Xiaoshu's mother. Jun tries to apologize for cheating, but Lingyan suggests postponing the wedding and also hints that she hasn't been faithful to him either. Lingyan remembers her late father and how he was always against Jun, considering him mean and mercantile. Then the girl didn't listen to her father and left home, and sometime later he left this world forever. She still feels that her father is somewhere near because she felt that someone visited her when she was in a coma. Currently, Siomo supports the girl in every way possible and arranges a romantic evening. Using security guards, the man organizes fireworks as a way to say goodbye to her father. At the same time, Siomo admits that he was in love with the girl from the first minute he started working as her father's assistant. He always wanted to be by her side, and he finally got that chance. Having confessed his love to Lingyan, Siomo proposes her to become his wife and gives her an engagement ring. The girl is not ready, neither to refuse nor to agree, so she asks him to give her time and wait a little. Respecting her decision, Siomo promises to wait until they become husband and wife. In the evening, leaving Lingyan behind, Siomo meets with her father, who reminds her that her family has brought them much grief and the girl must be punished for it. Meanwhile, Lingyan meets with a former friend and as a gesture of goodwill, leaves her a bank card for Lily to start her life with a clean slate. As a thank you, Lily hands over documents and information completely exposing Jun's criminal activities. The next morning, Lingyan gathers the shareholders to tell the story and make Jun suffer a fair punishment. He was prepared for this since Lily had warned him in advance. The mistress and friend had hoped to destroy them both, but the plan got out of hand. As it turned out, Jun didn't sign any of the documents, forcing Lily to forge his signature. With the money gone and the company's shares sold, Lily is the one responsible, so she is arrested. Lingyan realizes that she has to come up with something else to get the company and its assets back by punishing Jun. Left alone, Jun informs Lingyan that he has guessed everything. He knows that she doesn't have amnesia and that she made the whole thing up just to get the company's assets back. Jun is ready to leave at least now and ruin her late father's company, but instead he offers her one last chance to keep the money. To do this, the girl must get rid of Siomo, and, realizing that there is no choice, she agrees. Lingyan fires the guard and, in order to reject him, declares that she does not feel love. Taking these words to heart, Siomo leaves, but soon has an accident on her motorcycle. Lingyan rushes to the hospital and learns that Siomo has lost his life. She doesn't believe it and begs in tears not to leave her because Lingyan loves the man and wants to be with him all her life. Soon Siomo opens her eyes and it turns out that the accident was not terrible and what happened was a play to make sure of her feelings. Realizing that their love is mutual, Siomo asks the girl to accept the engagement ring so that she will forever be his alone. The couple is ready for any difficulties and will definitely overcome everything to be together. Spending time in bed, Siomo confesses that he got into the war and was severely wounded, but he was never a criminal and only fought terrorists to protect ordinary citizens. The couple spends a romantic weekend as Lingyan suddenly learns that her bodyguard has an appointment at the mine company. Going to work, the girl learns from her uncle that Jian wants to buy all the shares of their corporation and become its sole owner. Lingyan doesn't understand where her fiancé gets so much money from, but it turns out that their rival company Mind is behind it. The girl is distrustful of her guard who is clearly hiding something and wants to expose him as Jian suddenly comes home. He brings documents confirming that Siomo is married, which means that he is only using the girl for his own enrichment. The bodyguard confirms that Siomo is married, but declares that he is not the same Xiaomo. Despite the revelation, Lingyan says she believes the man and has no intention of abandoning him. After Jun leaves and they are alone, she asks Xiaomo to tell the truth. He has ulterior motives that he doesn't want to talk about, so the girl refuses the bodyguard and asks him to leave her house for good. The next morning, it is revealed that Jun has bought a controlling stake and the company of Lingyan's late father has been taken over by him. He could destroy the corporation, but is willing not to do so if Lingyan belongs to him. Moreover, she has no chance to refuse Jun because otherwise he will take the girl's life. Lingyan rejects the groom, and he wants to strangle him as suddenly the man is summoned to the mine company. One of the investors refused to sell shares, as a result of which Jun cannot get a controlling stake. Moreover, in the chair of the head of the rival company turns out to be Xiaomo, who deliberately lured Jun into an economic trap. He was unable to fulfill the terms of the contract, which means he has to give up all the shares and pay triple compensation as moral damages. Jun doesn't have that kind of money and offers to take Lingyan as a reward, but Xiaomo doesn't allow the girl to be treated as a thing to be sold. Her father offers Xiaomo to head the Ming Corporation, but he doesn't want to do it and asks him to leave his competitors alone. Meanwhile, Jun goes to Lingyan and begs on his knees for money to give to Xiaomo. Upon learning that Xiaomo is the head of a rival company, the girl cries. She is disappointed, but Xiaomo's assistant tells her that 3 years ago, a man returned from overseas, and he was the one who visited her in the hospital while she was in a coma. Realizing that his love is genuine, Lingyan sets out to find Xiaomo, but Jun kidnaps the girl and throws away the tracking bracelet. Jun reports the kidnapping, demanding money and travel abroad from Xiaomo. After fulfilling the blackmailer's demands, Xiaomo arrives at the rendezvous point, but falls into a trap. 20 hooligans beat him up, after which Jun tries to humiliate the bodyguard by making him walk on broken glass and take blows without resistance. He is willing to do anything for the girl, but remains steadfast and ready to take Jun's life. Realizing this, Jun decides to execute Xiaomo, but accidentally hits Lingyan, after which he flees. Security guards arrive on the scene and beat up the hooligans, and Jun is hit by a car. It turns out not to be an accident, because behind the wheel was a distraught Lily, who decided to execute her lover. Meanwhile, Lingyan dreams that her father leaves her to Xiaomo. When she wakes up in the hospital room, she is happy, because the man she loves is with her. As it turns out, Jun survived the accident, but will remain in a coma and is unlikely to ever wake up. Lily were driving the car and hit him intentionally, so will go to jail, but will first be treated in a psychiatric hospital. Xiaomo admits that he changed his name because he didn't communicate with his father, who abandoned his cancer-stricken mother. For her part, Lingyan admits that she knows exactly who has been by her side for all 3 years. Keeping his promise to his father, Xiaomo decides to abandon the girl he loves and leaves despite her pleas to stay with her. Soon Lingyan learns that a man is getting married and rushes to the hall to disrupt the wedding. Appearing in a dress, the girl proposes to Xiaomo to become her husband. Realizing that he is silent, she decides to leave, but Xiaomo stops her and the couple kiss. Recalling that the girl owes him one wish, Xiaomo asks Lingyan to become his wife, and she agrees.